Hello and welcome to Jamie's Motion Graphics. Today we're having a look at how to work with CC Glue Gun and how to make realistic ink on paper. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, here we are in After Effects and we already have a text set up. Yeah, the text is going to be necessary to do something, and I masked it. As you can see, I made a different T, so the purple mask doesn't show anything, as you can see here and at the T. But it is necessary that you make that, so just pick some kind of handwritten font or make your own handwriting. It's all good. Then we're going to use a new layer to show you what we actually are going to make. Let's make it red for now. I will adjust it afterwards. Glue gun, right? So let's put the glue gun effect on there. So you can find it here. You can also find it under Effect, Generate, and then CC Glue Gun. Same deal, same thing. Anyhow, what this does is it creates a kind of fake liquid something. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our mask path on our text layer, Control C, then go to our, well, red solid in this case, go to the glue gun effect, brush position, Control V, make sure you are at time is 0, Control V, and now we have it loaded, and we will see that in a moment. Once I kind of find it, it's up here somewhere. I made this layer super big because well, otherwise it runs off of the screen, and well, it still did that, but at least it's still in the layer, so that's awesome. Actually, I made that super big for another reason, but don't tell anyone. So what we have here is we have the text being drawn on currently in 2 seconds. We can of course adjust that by just dragging the last point wherever we want. We're going to drag it to, I don't know, this is a little bit too far I think, but drag it to like 30 seconds. Well, you can still drag it to like 1 minute, it doesn't matter. What we want is we want some resolution in between these frames. Not for what I'm going to show you in this video, but for what you could actually do with it. And I will show you that between this point and this point, so only for a very small amount. But what you can do is you can keyframe the stroke width at times 0, make it as big as your current well, stroke is, then go to, well, the end of this little passage thingy. So you can see that it changes direction there. So go to the end and then set it to smaller, and you can see that you can make an adjustable stroke width to follow your entire text. So currently I'm going to leave it at this, but you can see that, or you can understand that you can make it like this if you wanted to. It's a lot of work, I'm going to warn you right now, mainly because if you have things like this, so if you have a font like this, it's going to be completely impossible, because this is a circle and there's no way you can fit a circle to make this angle, so to make this shape in general. So unless you have a font that actually allows you to do that, so like this E would be easy because it's a smooth transition from small to big to small to big to small, but here you have another one where a small thing comes in and then all of a sudden needs to be big. It just looks terrible if you do it with this font. So not going to do it. There are other ways to do it which are way easier, and I've already shown you a few, so go and watch those tutorials if you want more on that. Anyhow, let's set the frame to, or the thing to like 3, should be fine. So as you can see, the text gets written, and we are going to just disable the other layer. We're stuck with this, and this is obviously not a good color. So let's first of all change the color to see what we are actually working with, because well, we are working with an effect and we can't really see the effect other than that it writes on something. This is what the effect is all about. It has a little glow on it, and well, you can make it different colors. I just want to show you the most obvious one. You can adjust the glow by going to light and adjusting the light intensity. As you can see, if you set it to something low, it's gone, and if you set it to something high, it will be super visible. It will also become super apparent that you're, well, using some kind of liquid to write on it. If you're having trouble with, I'll show you, hang on, because I have to adjust something before I can actually show you the problems that you can run into. So if you're going to make this into very few pixels, you can run into trouble like this. Yeah, there aren't a lot of other examples here. So these are all droplets. So basically it drops a bunch of droplets on here. If I put the density down, you can actually see it. Yeah, well, here you can definitely see it now. So the droplets are dropped every few moments, let's call it, in time. So the lower your resolution in time, the more you will see the droplets. Yeah, you can see it here very clearly. There's one over here. You can see it here. But yeah, if you're having this trouble, well, either just drag it out like I did before, so make more resolution, and that way there are more droplets being dropped, or you can up the density. Just up the density to something super big, and it will resolve the same issue. So I'm just going to resolve it by dragging this out to like over here. Then we will get a perfect text. Excellent. But let's say you're not interested in making it this liquid. Like this is an insanely liquid. And let's say you're not interested in that. So let's set this to 40. So it has a little hint of light. And let's put some paper underneath this. So layer, new, solid. Let's select some kind of paper color. Well, that's a terrible paper color, but this one will have to do. You can of course use texture. I don't really have a texture ready. It's a little bit light. Let's adjust that. Make it a little darker. Something like that. And you have some ink on here now. So the ink is not really perfect because I don't know what the settings would be to make it better. But you can definitely do with, for example, a little more light. You can also put an actual light on here. You can do whatever you want. The thing is, what I want to do is a little bit of bleed through. So let's assume this is ink and the other side, the other thing is paper. We want to bleed it out a little bit because, well, this is like a huge amount of ink, otherwise it doesn't shine like that. And it's going to bleed into the paper. So just duplicate your ink, because this is your ink, and go to, well, let's do it here. Roughen edges, search out roughen edges. It's in stylize if you're really fond of your effect thing here. Yeah, just up the width so that we have something to work with. And then let's go to, where are you? Scale, put down the scale. And you can see here that we have this little roughen thing. Then turn up the border and you can see what happens. So this is really a lot of bleed through. So yeah, you might want to scale that down a little bit. I went a little bit overboard with the dimensions there. But depending on how much you want, this can actually work. So just hit T for transparency. Tune it down a little bit, because especially around the tighter letters, it will otherwise just show up and be terrible. So if you're like, yeah, I want this, but I also want a little bit more effect just around the letters, just duplicate this, go to one of the two, it doesn't really matter, and just up the transparency, or the opacity I should say. So make it more black, and then decrease the amount of stroke width and the border, because those are the ones that actually, well, get this effect going. So let's see what it actually does. Let's turn off everything. So this is the one, the last one we made, and you can see that it bleeds quite heavily on the well, around the letters. The other one bleeds a little less, so it's a little less bright, a little, well, black, I guess. It's kind of hard to address what it actually does, but yeah, you can see that it's a little less of an actual blackness. And so you kind of have this versus this. So this is blacker, but it's also smaller, or at least it should be. It's actually not that much smaller. It's, let's see what we can actually do about that. So something like that would be great. And then of course you can work with the other things. You can make the scale a little bit bigger, or different at least, so that you get these blotches. And well, the only thing now is, if we're writing now, currently it just plops on. Like, yeah, I'm writing and all of a sudden there's bleed through. Obviously in reality it takes a while for things to bleed into the paper. So just drag it out, your bleed layers, until you're kind of satisfied with the result. And you will see that, well, here, first this comes on, and then later on we see the other layer coming on. So we have two different layers. Let's turn on off the text, and we can see that the one layer comes on first, that's this one, and then the other layer comes on top of that. So you kind of have a bleed. Well, you can do this in layer upon layer upon layer. 3 or 4 layers would be the realistic effect, I guess. So making them like more or less opaque, so more transparent, but bigger, that would kind of suggest that it's running from the ink outwards. So currently what I'm doing is I am, hopefully, no, this should be reversed. It should be like this. So the one that's closest to it, that one goes first, should go first. I don't know which of the two it is. I guess it's this one. That one should go first, and then the one that's a little bit further off should go second. And that way you get a little bit of movement in the ink. And you can of course make a third one, which is, let's make it like super over the top, huge. Just so you can see that it actually does work like that. Okay, border. Let's up that. And let's make the width a little bit bigger, so that it actually becomes a little bit darker. Hit the transparency and make it something like this. And then the effect becomes that, by the way, there is no effect here, I just realized, so we'll have to go through here, because this first part doesn't really, or I animated that with the thing, and you can see here that for several frames, I'll scroll through it a little bit slowly. So first you paint on the E, and then a little bit later it will start here. It will start to actually show up as bleed, and then eventually it will cover quite a lot of space here inside of this. So yeah, that's how you make that. There's a lot of things to actually tune if you want to do this correctly. And obviously once you're done, you can do something like this. Let's see, new composition. Put composition 1 into composition 2. Add a camera. Come on. New camera. Whatever. Yeah. Turn this into 3D layer, otherwise, well, it doesn't show. take your camera tool and you can look at it from like the side, or in this case from the front, and you can actually put this like on a table and just paint on the effect with an actual camera there. So yeah, it can be really cool. You can also rotate this. I'm zooming. Yeah, this doesn't really work. Hang on. It's not what I wanted. I wanted to do, it's this one. So you can watch it from the side if you want to. Something like this. And you can watch how it's written on with realistic ink bleed. Yeah, it's just a quick way of showing you what you can do. You will have to, well, kind of do the details yourself because, well, can't really show you everything, right? Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.